Welcome to Lutherans Alive. I'm Pastor Tony Schneck, your host, and this is the program that seeks to tell the stories of Lutheran Christians and their ministries here in southwestern Pennsylvania and all the things that God is doing through us. Although today's program, we're broadening our scope just a bit in that our guest today happens to come from among our Roman Catholic brothers and sisters. John Merhaut and his family are the owners and operators of two religious gift centers here in our area. John, welcome today.
Thank you.
We're glad to have you. And specifically now, let me ask about your family and your family's ownership of the Merhaut Religious Gift Centers. How long has your family been in the business? Tell us how your family got in the business, if you would.
In 1959, my father, who's now 83 years old, entered the seminary down in Pittsburgh. He went into St. Paul's Seminary, and he was in as a brother, and was in for about a year. About 8-9 months into it, they told him that we really don't think this is your calling. And at that point, he left, met my mother, fell in love quickly. They were married in 1960, and he didn't really have a job at that point, so he was just downtown in Pittsburgh one day looking for a job, came across a religious store in Pittsburgh called Templegate. I walked in, applied for the job. The man was looking for a salesman, so my dad took the job. 10 years later, he bought the company. So in approximately 1970-71, it became A.T. Merhaut. My brother Tom came into the business in 1984. I came into the business in 1989, and my brother Matt came in about 94, 95, and I have a sister Teresa in the business too now, and a niece who's part-time. Almost 51 years in business now.
You have two locations currently. The one location is located on Route 8 in Hampton Township, and we'll also want to talk in a little while about the newest location here in McCandless. But before we do that, tell us about some of the things that you have in the store.
The name of the store is A.T. Merhaut Religious Gift Center. So we're very gift oriented. We have gifts for your sacramental needs, baptism, confirmation. We have wedding gifts, a lot of inspirational gifts. And we have a lot of Catholic merchandise because that has been our niche for the last 50 years. But we tried to aim a little bit more towards the inspirational giftwares in this store. We do have books, not quite as many as the store that was in the past, but we put an emphasis on the giftware in the retail outlets.
How long have you yourself been in the business now?
I'm in my 21st year in the company.
Okay.
In 1989 I started.
And your specific role in the family company right now is what?
I manage the stores. I do all of the purchasing of the gifts. I take 2 or 3 trips a year to Chicago and New York and do all of the buying. My brother Tom is our outside sales manager, and he's still out on the road himself selling. And my brother Matt does all of the computer work, IT, our website, anything that has to do with our software, he takes care of. And we also have Adam Miller, who is another salesman for us, takes care of all of our Protestant accounts. So you might have met Adam in the past, and his office is located right here in the McCandless office.
The McCandless store specifically is relatively new. Could you say a bit about how that location came about now, and specifically now the partnership, the relationship now with our own Lutheran Synod here on the grounds of our Synod headquarters?
Bishop Kurt Cusserow lives just a few miles from our location in Hampton. And it was one evening, I think back in January, my brother Matt was working the evening shift, and Bishop Kurt came in and just brought up the idea to my brother Matt and said, would you considering opening a store at the Synod office? Because since the Fortress store that was there left, we've had a great void. And Matt mentioned it to us the next day. We had a meeting and kicked it around for a couple weeks, and then finally we talked to Bishop Kurt, and worked out the logistics, and it just fell together so easily and so well. And Bishop Kurt was wonderful to work with, and signed a contract back in, I believe, April, and we opened July 1st.
It was indeed a void. I mean, speaking from the perspective of a pastor and a Lutheran here in southwestern Pennsylvania, I think there was a lot of grieving whenever we lost our Augsburg Fortress store, which Augsburg Fortress is our own Lutheran publishing company, which had a store in the lower level of our Synod offices here on Perry Highway. And I, for one, was very pleased to hear that the Merhaut store was going to fill that void and use that space, which was also next to our Synod Resource Center here in McCandless. And so we're very pleased. I've heard wonderful things too about this new relationship that we've formed with the Merhaut store.
Thank you. Thank you. We're very happy to be here. The one thing that has been an adjustment for us is that we've always had that Catholic niche, and that's for lack of a better word, the market that we've always known. And coming over here, we're trying to learn the needs of the Lutheran pastors and the wants and the needs, and they are different than what we had over at the other store. So that's been an adjustment. We supply the candles that the pastors would need, and the altar breads and things like that we've always had, but there are other needs that we're finding out that they need that we're just trying to adjust. So we're on a learning scale right now.
Well, I suppose that's a part of any new relationship, that you're sort of learning about each other and getting to know one another and seeing what those needs are, how we could best benefit one another and help one another in our various ministries.
Absolutely. Yes, we are a business, but we're here to service the church, and that's our goal, to be a service-oriented company, to fill the needs of the pastors and priests in this area.
And it's good for folks to look at their work as a ministry and not just a business.
Yes, it is. It is a ministry for us. I never understood that when my dad started the business. He had such a deep faith and love of God. When he started the company, he so easily combined the two. When I started in the company in 1989, as a younger man in my early 20s, I didn't have the faith he had. So trying to bring those two together was very difficult for me. And just recently, in the past few years, I've seen the work that we do, and it is a ministry for people. Like, people come into our store. We just had a woman down in the store an hour ago who was looking for a confirmation gift for her daughter, opened up a card and broke out into tears because it's the card that she needed for her daughter. So tying the two together was much more difficult for me than it was for my dad, who did it instantaneously.
I'm hoping we could talk a little more about that, but let's do that as soon as we take a short break. We'll be right back.